So you just sort of laid out 99.9% could be in the history's garbage bin in the future, and 0.1% will remain. What do you think it is about, like, as you observe crypto, you kind of gave your take of your bullishness, but like, what do you think is going to stick? What do you think is going to last? Or why does that, because it's easy, it's the volatility. You mentioned quite a few reasons to be skeptical. So what gets you, what attracts you here? And then we can talk about the NFTs too, but like, what attracts you beyond the digital currency aspect of it?
Now, Bitcoin will stay. That's no doubt. So this is the ETH. Yeah, it's a bit expensive. It's a bit more complicated. It's slower, but there's so many, related products there. So I wouldn't bet against it. Though I'm less bullish on this than on Bitcoin. And then you have thousands of coins. That's, again, you can take a chance, but that's, most likely it's 99.9%. So that's but again, you can take a chance. You never know. So that's the beauty called venture capital. Yes, you can take an adventure. Yes. Now, the reason I believe, it's inevitable is it's because what is a currency? Every fiat currency, does exist because people have confidence in the systems behind it. And if we go back in history, just in history timeline, early days, money, the paper money is just it's fairly new concept. So I think it's the beginning of 1800s. So we're talking about 3 centuries. So it's a very short period of time. So before it was always about money backed by these pieces. So gold, silver, whatever. And even before that, it was about anything that was recognized in the society as the valid, as a valid element of that valid system of payment. So right now we live in a world, where just, forget species. I mean, this with so much money, trillions of dollars. By the way, when people say billion and trillion, I think they just don't recognize what it is. And I have been struggling how to find a way to tell people that these numbers are insane. And here I found the test, quickly, 1 billion seconds. How long is that?
300 years.
No, it's 31.9.
Okay.
Still, nearly 32 years. 1 trillion is 32,000 years. The moment you tell people that 1 billion seconds is nearly half of the human life, so they say, I 1 trillion. It just, it goes back to the ice period. So and with so much money, there's no way to back it up. We have, it's like a black hole. So it's we have the total, when you look at the derivatives and all this debts, that interwoven debts, they are probably it's in now quadrillions. Am I correct with a number? So you're talking about 20, 30 times world global GDP. There's no way you can offset it, because it's the whole system now is just it's interdependent. So you cannot take bad debt, because in many payments, in many papers, available papers, they are all connected. That's the great financial engineering. So you take good debt and bad debt, put it together. Now you create a paper. So how we can get out of that? I mean, I make money, but I don't want the government, just to devalue my money by printing a few trillions. So I think that psychologically more and more people are moving to math, to science. And what is there? Bitcoin. I know exactly how many Bitcoins are available. I know exactly, this is what happens with this algorithm, and no government in the world can actually interfere. So I think there will be growing demand to protect our savings from government abuse. And this is not China or Russia. We're talking about democratic governments, especially American, that are so I'm looking for a diplomatic word. They're not caring about our well-being, because they think about concepts. But at the end of the day, at the end of each decision, you have an individual, and I'm not happy with all of a sudden my savings, losing its value because they solve global problems or create more bureaucracy.
So that's interesting because you're obviously you've mentioned it a couple times, a notable political voice. You speak out a lot, and I'm curious. Crypto, I think, still has a little bit of your Bitcoin is certainly more accepted, but there's still a bit of what is this really used for, and also most recently, I know she's a hot, easy to poke at name, but Hillary Clinton, I think, was the most recent notable name to say this is a threat to essentially fiat currencies, to centralized governments. I know our audience is global, and we have a lot of readers in countries that are struggling with their own currency. So I know the trade-offs. You mentioned Venezuela as an example of this sort of country, but how do you think about the political aspect? Because it's hard to divorce crypto from a political aspect. Like, how do you think in terms of its role in our geopolitical landscape?
Yeah, you cannot insulate yourself from the political complications in the world. And whatever happens, in a free world, elections and campaigns and promises and debates, or what happens in the unfree world, like dictators deciding now it's like time to ban it, like in China, Xi Jinping. We want digital yuan to dominate the world, so we're too powerful, we do that. Or in Russia, when they try to control this process, because it's all powerful KGB with 1,000 eyes wants to know exactly what happens in your bed and in your wallet. So, but this again, that's all adds to my previous argument. It's the digital world, the globalized world, will offer more opportunities for individuals. It means decentralization, and I think it's at the end of the day, it's about our confidence. If you have enough people in the world saying, "Sorry, yeah, we need to move elsewhere," that's going to happen. Dollar is weak. The only reason dollar is a reserve currency is because other currencies are worse. So it's all relative. It's not that dollar is as strong. It's not 1944, for God's sake. This is 2021. America is not the same dominant force as it used to be at the end of the World War II. Yeah. So it's the America can fund its social programs. This is the government by adding debt because dollar is still dominant, but its dominance, it's guaranteed only by the weakness of others. I think that's long term, and again, I'm not a financial expert. It's more like a philosophical view. I think in the next 10 years, it's likely that dollar will be replaced by the basket of cryptos. It's this, look, it's about history. I read enough history books to see the trends. I'm analyzing the trends, and I think that there will be growing demand for individual protection, and decentralization becomes the buzzword. Yes, people want to make sure that we control our lives.
Do you? Well, let's maybe that'll get too deep in that direction. So with NFT specifically being they've been around for a few years, but they really rose to prominence in 2021. Is there, and it sounds like what you're doing is tying it to physical objects. It's really another way of sharing memorabilia, but there is still a sense in the air of NFTs being somewhat fad-like. So how do you think about the possibility of this just being the latest thing and NFTs specifically not, like, how are you looking at it as somebody newer to this area in crypto?
Look, again, it's another philosophical debate about the concept of ownership. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, there is a demand and there is an offer. So if people are willing to buy, a copy of an art, so that's okay, with slight modifications. Yeah, there's this, and pay X dollars, X $1,000, and others willing to buy it on the secondary market. They know better, so it's the wisdom of the crowd. I think that it's what I'm trying to do, and to establish this a new segment which is unique. So it's I think that will have, it's like the niche, but it's a top niche of the market. So it's unique it has historical relevance. It's backed by the physical artifacts or personal stories. I think there will be great demand for that. Yeah, I'm taking a risk because I'm pioneering that, but I used to take this risk. But I think this is what will happen. It's this, when I say Bitcoin is online gold, is just and you don't have to move it. You don't have to store it. It's again, why was gold? Because that's what people believed. It's valuable, and it's just, and it also stays. This thing stays. Things have value as long as we believe they have value. And now it's when everything is digital. We need to own things, quote unquote valuable things, digitally, and that's why I think they again, NFT market same as the other cryptos. In 99% will basically just the value could will evaporate. But eventually we have millions of NFTs, and some of them will create. This is the market that will be a solid secondary market, because it will become it's part of our life. So this is, I own this one, I own this one. This is, and you can see more and more businesses are moving. NBA pioneered that. Though I think this is the way they did it. I think it's wrong because they do it in house. I think that's wrong. Doing it in house contradicts the whole idea, because it should be and then if you want to cash in, you have to clear again. You need clearance of the house. That's not what I want. We want something. It's like I use the word open sea,
right?
Not to promote platform, which is but it's, let's say, open ocean. Yes. So it's very important that you do not depend on someone who is just who can pull the plug of this. So I think the future is it's loosely regulated. Still not regulation, loosely regulated market where people can actually exchange the NFTs as valuables.